welcome back. I know it's been a little bit of time, but Airstream restorations, 1, take a lot of time, 2, take a lot of money, and 3, some parts are just really hard to find. But with that being said, we are back on track, cruising through this Airstream. So in that previous clip, I was taking off the surface rust, and this is with it taken off. I then prepped the metal, primed the metal, and covered the metal with Pour 15, and that's just to stop rust progression. I did not prep the areas that we were going to be replacing the outriggers, but this is kind of what it looks like all done. So to replace the outriggers, first you had to cut them off, which we use an angle grinder here. This is what the outrigger looks like halfway through working the angle grinder down it, but basically tried to get as smooth as you could to the frame while cutting that outrigger off. And after about 2 months of searching for somebody to weld these outriggers back on, finally found somebody who did it in about a day. After welding the outriggers on, it is now time to start putting the trailer back together. So this starts with the belly pan, which you can see I'm measuring the different spots here. So I excluded the spots where the freshwater tank is gonna go and the gray water tank because those have pans that go on the bottom. And then the sides are a little bit different because they wrap around the edges. So you just have to measure out basically all these different sections of the belly pan. And for those of you that don't know, the belly pan is a lot of different size sheets of aluminum that go on the very bottom of the Airstream to protect the insulation and really the inside of the Airstream from water that is sprayed up from the ground or rocks, anything like that. Also critters, basically just keeps the insulation in. So I am buying my aluminum for the belly pan from Air Parts Inc., which I will link below. But this is me trying to figure out all my measurements and figuring out how to fit it into a 4 foot wide by 40 feet aluminum strip of metal. And that 4 feet by 40 feet is basically the maximum that Air Parts Inc. can sell it without having to do like freight shipping. So I was really trying to fit in all my measurements to that 4 feet by 40 feet. After a lot of time, I finally figured out how I could fit all my measurements into that 4 foot by 40 foot piece of aluminum. And after a couple days, I received the aluminum sheet of metal and I was ready to start cutting out pieces of this belly pan. I got this drill shear attachment from DeWalt to cut the pieces of aluminum, and it was very helpful, a lot better than trying to cut it with just a pair of metal shears. I then attempted to put the belly pan on, starting with the back of the Airstream because the way that they overlap creates less opportunity for water to get in while you're driving, on the road, anything like that. So I ended up using 2 of these jacks with a piece of board to kind of help hold that aluminum up while I could drill and rivet the holes to keep the aluminum in place. So the next couple of clips are me trying to align the belly pan with the frame, trying to drill and rivet in. This took a tremendous amount of time. It was hard to get the angles on the drill and then on the rivet gun. Some pieces just didn't want to work. This is totally a learning curve for me. And it was just an awkward angle. I was on the ground trying to drill up. My muscles were sore the next day. Shoulders were on fire, stuff like that. So this is just kind of some clips of me struggling to put this darn belly pan back on. After I got that back piece on, I was ready to rock and roll to the next piece. Here I am just cutting it out. And here is that back piece all riveted in. This is the side. Don't mind the little mess ups that I have. And this is that smaller piece that I was just cutting out. This goes in between the back aluminum belly pan and the gray water tank holder. This is just the view from the inside of the Airstream with that small strip and that back piece in. I hope y'all enjoyed this episode. I am ready to get back on track with progress on this Airstream and making some more videos. So y'all stay tuned.